folks, Moose here. So this video is just a kind of a boring one. I've got a box of slot cards. If I can move my camera. Alright. So I got a box of slot cards here that I gotta pull the fingers off of, and since I'm just sitting here doing nothing but this, I thought I'd shoot a little video. So I'm just using a pair of Robo Grip pliers. You can use any channel locks, or there's a whole bunch of methods for taking these off, from sticking the fingers in a vise and bending. I think I did a video on that a while back when I still lived in Sanford, so it was like maybe 5-6 years ago. But yeah, so I got this lot. This is from the new person that I'm going to be doing business with. He's got like a clean out service. Unfortunately, all of these, the people he has working for him, they were quite rough when they were taking the computers apart. They knew that there was value in there, they just didn't know what to do with it or how to process it to make the most money out of it. So with this stuff, what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the fingers off, and then I'm going to sell the rest of it as a lot on eBay. It's kind of sad because there are cards like this that, I inspected it closely and I saw some damage to it, but a card like this would go for $40 to $60. So this one card was worth what I would get for this whole lot, basically. This is about 10-15 pounds. So what I've asked that guy to do is, in the future, when he gets computers from his clean out jobs, he's going to just give them to me straight away. That way I can plug them in, test them out, see what's working. That way I can sell the stuff that actually works on eBay, and that way we get more money. The offer that I have for him is kind of unique because he's kind of a friend of he's actually a brother of one of my friends. So what I'm going to be doing, basically, is a lot of this stuff that he gives me to sell, I'm going to basically be giving him most of the profit. But anything that, like anything like this, where he would get like a crap price at our local scrapyard, I'm going to get him regular price without. I'm going to get him a higher price than what he would get at the scrapyard, and give it all to him while I still get to keep some of the gold bearing bits for my own, recovery and refining. I'm happy with that arrangement. It's not the most profitable for me, but it's in the winter it gets pretty slow, so it gives me something to do while the TV is on. We'll see how much gold fingers I get out of this. Worst case scenario, if it's there's quite a bit in here, so I'll probably get at least 5-6 ounces of trim fingers, I would imagine. But again, we'll see. So, and this stuff he's been collecting for a while. I'm not sure how long he's been collecting it, but it's been taking up space in his garage, or his barn, I should say. He's got a whole barn. And he's going to be, dropping off other things as well, as far as like, all kinds of other electronics to try and sell on eBay first, rather than, getting light iron price, which is what he's been getting the whole time. So, finding someone who is in that kind of business can be worth it for you. So I know a lot of folks ask, well, where do you get your scrap? How can I get more scrap? Networking with people, that's one of the biggest ways. Like this one right here has got all kinds of nice gold plated pins on it. But I'm just after fingers. So yeah, quiet Sunday morning. Just breaking off gold fingers. Yeah, so he's also offered me, you know, a few other things. Like sometimes he gets TVs, like the big old tube types. And the arrangement, because he does so much waste removal, he actually doesn't really have to pay for disposing of the tube TVs. Somehow they made that arrangement. So he's offered me as well, you know, anytime I have TVs to get rid of, I can just, you know, drop them off at his barn and he'll make sure they get to the Riverside Recycling, which is, you know, kind of nice. I mean, it creates a new source of copper for me that I had previously, you know, for the most part, turned down because of the cost of disposing of the glass tube. I know I had a video that I put out a little while ago where I started offering, you know, to pick up those types of TVs for a charge. You know, basically the charge that the dump was charging me for the disposal of the lead tube, the lead glass tube. And, you know, I got some bites on it, not a whole lot. But if I can tell people that I can pick up their old TVs for free now, I'm sure I'll get a lot more copper that way. I'll get a lot more material for my forge, which I'm sure you guys are already getting tired of hearing me talk about. Like every freaking video I put out, I'm talking about that forge and getting gold out of it. Or not gold, but making ingots. So yeah, just getting fingers off. I think it's, you know, for a lot of the people who are new to this, who are excited about, you know, gold recovery, I think it's important for you guys to, number one, see how much material you need to go through just to get, you know, a small amount of trim fingers. So if you figure at best you get 2 or 3 of these cards per computer, this is a whole bunch of computer towers. So you gotta keep that in mind. Not to try and discourage you, I'm just trying to give you like a reality check on it, that you're not going to get a whole bunch of material overnight or out of just a couple of computers. You gotta get quantity. And this is a pretty easy method. I mean, I like using the vise in the summertime. You know, the only problem with that is, you know, once you snap it off in the vise, it tends to drop on the floor. So then you gotta, or anyways, I do. I have to go fishing for it somewhere underneath my workbench. And the floor of my garage has all kinds of big cracks and crevices that these things can fly into. So this way, I'm holding onto it with pliers so I don't lose it. All kinds of cards. So yeah, one of the big things, you know, that I'm hopeful for, that he's going to start dropping these towers off, is, again, you know, it's going to give me an opportunity to plug them in and test them, because a lot of these things, you know, these Sound Blaster cards, you know, depending on, I mean, there's 3 different ones right here. It's the EAX, Audiology 2, and Sound Blaster Live. I mean, these cards have a lot of gold plating on them. So yeah, they're nice for these lots, but to sell it as a working unit, you're still going to get a lot more. You can get, I mean, I've checked out some of these already, and we're talking anywhere from, you know, $5 each, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when you consider that, you know, these cards typically go for, at best, like $3 a pound, so $5 per. And, you know, up to, you know, $20, $30 per card, of course, you know, depending on the model. So there's a lot more money that could be made that way. And I mean, looking at some of these things, the gold plating on them, I don't know if you can see on that how shiny that is. It's alright, so good comparison right there. Oh, the lighting might not can you see the difference in those two? See how this one is very shiny and this one's a little bit more dull? Alright, this one's older, so the gold plating is a lot thicker, or more pure, or whatever you want to call it. But regardless, the amount of gold that you recover from this one is going to be higher than this one. And you can tell just by looking at the color of it. The older they get, the golder. It's like almost dull. Yeah, look at that one. That was a good one. Now sometimes the gold plating is so thin it almost looks like a little pink. That's like the base metal underneath it. You're seeing like copper, and I don't remember if that's the nickel layer first or the copper layer, but I know the nickel layer is very thin. But this newer stuff, the plating is not very thick, which actually surprises me that a lot of companies, you know, like Board Sort and stuff like that, haven't. I'm sure they compensate for that and what they pay out, you know, in general for trim fingers. I'm surprised they haven't like made that a subcategory yet, because the difference has to be, you know, fairly significant. All right, and this little guy, I want to make sure that I pull that out. This one, I'll probably have to use the old Harbor Freight tin snips. So yeah, so this lot on eBay, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to get, you know, the scrapyard was going to pay, I think like $1.50 a pound, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get a little bit more than that. On eBay, they tend to overpay. People tend to overpay for stuff anyway, so. About half done. And again, you know, when I post this stuff on eBay, I'm going to make sure to, you know, put some of the better looking cards on the top of the pile, like the Sound Blaster and those ATI cards. And, you know, I mean, a lot of these still have a lot of nice, you know, BGA chips on them and other things that are still worth, you know, still worth money for people who do the recovery and refining stuff. A lot of monolithic ceramic capacitors. Alright, the little cup's getting full here. There we go. Little peanut butter jar. As my waistline may indicate, peanut butter is one of my weaknesses. Yeah, see, like this one. I mean, it's so hard to tell, like even through the viewfinder here on the camera, that that's gold plated. It is, but it's, you can tell it's almost white. So you know that that gold plating is either really thin or really low carat. Just not the best, but gold is gold. If someone offered you a gold ring but it was only 14 karat, would you say no because it's not 18 karat? Probably not. And a lot of these little guys have See, there's a little card in there that has little fingers on it, but it's got a screwdriver, or the Phillips had 2 Phillips screws on it that I'd have to take off. And yeah, I just don't feel like it on a Sunday morning. And I know a lot of you folks are cringing. That card is worth so much money. I know, I do. I know. But again, because I know a lot of people, according to YouTube, the average view time is 3 minutes, so I know that most people don't watch the entire video. I will say it again, that these cards, number 1, were just chucked into a big plastic bin, so a lot of them have visible damage on it, so I can't try and resell them on eBay. Number 2, there was water at the bottom of the bin, so I don't want to risk, you know, selling something that doesn't work and put my eBay reputation, you know, in the dirt. So I'm doing it this time. But again, for those just tuning in or just stopping the fast forward or whatever, this is not something that I plan to do every time. I've again made arrangements with this guy who I haven't even asked permission yet to use his name on YouTube, so I'm not going to just yet. But so I've asked him to, you know, in the future, just drop those computers off here, or set them aside whole at his facility, and I'll break them apart, take them apart. That way I can test them first. And you know, while we're talking about it, or while I'm talking about it, you guys aren't talking, you're just watching. The question that a lot of people ask, you know, again, is where can I get that much scrap? Where can I get, you know, more computer scrap? Number 1, I want you folks to realize that I've been doing this for a while, but I am not a big time scrapper. I'm really not. I haven't had this many slot cards in one batch in a long time. So it's not like this is, you know, every other day for me here. But some things that I have learned over the years, one of the best ways to get this stuff is, the hardest part is the groundwork. You know, it's getting out there and talking to people. It's getting people to know what you do, what you can offer them. You know, just recently, within the last couple months anyway, I made a new friend who works at one of the local schools, and we just, you know, in passing, got on the topic of, you know, this stuff, you know, what I do in my spare time, and he's like, yeah, well, geez, we just paid someone, you know, a huge amount of money to come pick up all the school's computers and monitors and stuff. And I looked at him and I said, well, tell the people that you work for that I'll do it for nothing. So he had, there was some kind of meeting over there, and he threw my name out, and he said, look, I mean, you guys keep looking for ways to save money. This is who this guy is. This is what he does. He actually recycles everything instead of just bringing it to the landfill. So hopefully that pans out, but that's just one other way of, you know, getting yourself out there. You know, Craigslist is really good. I've had a lot of good luck with Craigslist. Yahoo groups. There's a group called freecycle.com on Yahoo. I've had a lot of good luck with over the years. That's actually one of the groups that I pretty much started with, and they have policies, you know, like, you know, they put out disclaimers like if you're giving away any electronics, make sure your personal information is, you know, fully deleted off of them, which I totally respect and get. And I make sure to let people know that, number one, if you want, I can remove the hard drive for you right there while I'm picking stuff up. That tends to make people feel, a lot safer. Some people, unfortunately, think RAM have their personal information, random access memory. So you can choose to either, argue with them or just say, okay, yeah, well, here are the RAM chips. Good luck getting the information off them. But that's just another thing right there. And let's see, so Craigslist, Yahoo Groups. Something that I'm doing this month, the month of March, that I'm pretty excited about actually, is I'm teaming up with the local Girl Scout troop, and we're going to be doing a recycling fundraiser. So basically, getting a whole bunch of flyers out and stuff like that, telling people that we're going to be collecting pretty much anything that plugs in. We'll actually go to their door and pick it up, or if they want to drop it off, that's fine. And not all the proceeds, but a good chunk of the proceeds go right to the Girl Scouts. So I have not yet figured out exactly. I mean, I don't want to take money from the Girl Scouts. Don't get me wrong. Still want to make it worth my time. But I was involved in one of their last fundraisers, which was a bottle drive, and I think they made like $200. And I'm pretty sure that we can do a lot better than that with a scrap metal drive. So I'm thinking it'll be a good way to get a bunch of electronics and things like that, more stuff for the gold recovery stuff. And I don't know if I should just do all the basic metals, all the scrapyard money goes to them, and I'll just keep the circuit boards for me, because the scrapyard doesn't really pay squat for those. Like I've mentioned before in some of my other videos, the scrapyard here will only give like light iron prices for just about all the circuit boards. Plus, it's a opportunity to show the kids, that you don't have to throw these things out. It's not completely worthless. You can help out the environment and make a couple bucks in the process. We'll see. That should be interesting. I'm sure I'll have updates on that later. Almost done, and then we'll do a way out. I had, I think, 14 pounds of slot cards to start off with. And down to 6 cards, not 6 pounds. Some of these are really brittle. So something definitely to pay attention to when you're doing this, just for your own experience. When you're pulling these things off, look at the gold fingers. Look at how the tone, the brightness, the color, the reflectiveness, how they all vary from card to card. All right. Done. Let's see how much we got. And again, keep in mind that individual results will vary. Let's just do this. Okay, on. Alright, so I got about 5 ounces of trim fingers from 14 pounds of cards. Which is not bad. Not bad. I mean, you want to certainly want to wait until you have at least a pound. Kind of make it more worth your while when you're processing these things. Depending on the quality of the fingers, from 1 pound, you can get upwards of maybe 2 grams gold back. So that is not bad. Put my containers away. Scale off the side. All right, so that's it. So adding to the stockpile, I'll go dump this into my little 1 gallon bucket of other trimmed fingers, which took me a little while to accumulate. Don't get me wrong, I mean, like I said earlier, I don't scrap a whole ton of stuff, but I try and pay attention when I do and learn as much as I can, which I'm still learning tons of stuff, and especially thanks to that Facebook group that I mentioned before. Just the last couple of weeks I've learned a ton of things. I mean, I've got a container now that I'm keeping. I'm going to be pretty much saving all of the components, so moving forward, every time I strip a circuit board or something, like I'm going to cherry pick the stuff that I know, like the IC chips, dust ball, the BGA chips, crystal oscillators. I'll be cherry picking all the stuff that I'm familiar with and keeping them separate. But because the boards for me are fairly worthless around here, unless I want to ship them out, which I've not had good luck with, I'm going to use the air chisel and just clean them all off, put everything in a 55-gallon barrel, and just hold on to it until, I mean, it'll take me a long time to fill up that barrel with all these little pieces, and but at least down the road, if I learn something new, I won't be kicking myself in the rear saying, oh man, I threw out that and it was worth money. So there you have it. So thanks for watching. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell, do all that social media stuff. Stay tuned. I've got today is Sunday, so in a couple days I've got my March Madness series with the video game systems, which should be interesting, and then we'll go from there. And make sure that if you want to get into that 100,000 subscriber giveaway contest, that all you have to do is just subscribe to those channels I have listed. So it's the Moose channel, DIY Daddy channel, and the ones in the description, and that's it. It's free. It's all great information for you, and you're in the running. And then if I hit 100,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2020, I will be giving out a bunch of stuff. I know I had a contest, or tried to have a contest at the end of last year. If I hit 5,000 subs or whatever, I'll do a logo change thing. Unfortunately, I only had really 1 entry from Clutch Guitars, which was a great entry, by the way. But with just 1 entry, it was not much of a contest to switch things around. And a lot of people suggested that I stay with, what I had, or just that Moose Crossing sign. So I decided to stay with that. But that's it. So, again, thanks for watching. See y'all later.